recording. We're going to speak today. We are going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 12. Does anyone want to say what we read yesterday?
Yesterday we read that how Vṛtrāsura was, encouraging Indra to kill. And though he was hesitating, Indra was hesitating. And then Vṛtrāsura also mentioned that how Lord is the cause of everything. He's the Karmani Manasya, that his rule at the time of Indra Puja, and how we remember that how the result of the karma will come. And no matter how hard you try or doesn't, but it's still that Krishna is the cause of all the causes, and everything comes from Krishna, and everyone is dependent on him, and everyone is dependent on his mercy or his chastise, that we need to sanction his sanction need to come from him. And it is just that because of his love that he wants us to come back to him. That's why he's chastised, or he showers the mercy, or he chastises us sometimes. And then we should be equipoised in good or in bad. So Vṛtrāsura says that it is not easy to be equipoised, but when we learn to depend on Krishna, then it becomes easy. And Krishna's will is the supreme will. And then he also mentioned about the modes of three modes of material nature, that it is not easy to transcend them. But Vṛtrāsura says that we should try to transcend them, and then we can get liberated, and we can understand that I'm not the spirit soul. And then we begin bhakti, and then we have no desire of the material things. And and when the three modes, but that's the three modes acting, and we think that we are the doer. When the three modes act, and then when we think that we are the doer of all, but that is because of our false ego. We do all that, and then we engage in devotional service, then we'll get free from all this. And the mood of the devotee is also shown here, that how he tolerates the duality of the world, as that it is under the charge of Krishna. So, and then Krishna also says that do your duty. Vṛtrāsura said that do your duty. And he, even while knowing that he will die, but he did his duty of fighting. And he's giving these beautiful instructions to Indra, and he becomes his guru. And he's very, very eager to go to Godhead. And then you also mentioned that at first Indra was amazed that how come this demon is a pure devotee. But then he remembered about Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj. And then Indra says that I understand that you are a devotee. And then Prabhupada also encourages us in the purport. He encourages us as one can become a pure devotee. He never gives up his Krishna consciousness. And then he also says that anyone can become a pure devotee. We just need to serve Krishna. Then he also mentioned about the demigods and the demons. The demigod is the one who depends on Krishna and serves him. And it doesn't matter that by birth what you are, but you can become a pure devotee. And then also mentioned about the Mahapurush, that how the Vaishnavas are the Mahapurush, and how they get that place. And a pure devotee just wants to work according to the Guru, and according to the instructions of the Guru. He follow the instructions of the Guru, and that's it. And then he can go up to the level of Mahapurush. Yeah, we read up till here.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. और ये भी बताया ना कि भाई वृत्तासुर असुर होने के बाद भी परम भक्त था, और इंद्र सुर होकर भी मटीरियल लाइफ में लिप्त था, ये भी बता.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think, Neha, it was just maybe a slip of the tongue. Vṛtrāsura was saying transcend, that we are not the body, that we are the soul. Sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes.
So,
Sorry. That we are the
So, yeah.
body and not the soul. Yes. That we are.
So
Yeah.
we
Sorry.
think we are the body, we are not the soul,
Body.
but
Yes.
instead we
Yes.
have to
Sorry.
transcend that we are the soul,
Yes.
not the body.
We are the soul. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just for the
Yeah,
record.
thank you.
So
You
then,
are welcome.
thank you. Okay. So, but was very good how you all remembered what we read yesterday. Thank you so much. So we'll read 21. Khalav idam mahad ascharyam.
Phalam idam maha ascharyan
Yad raja prakrite stava.
yadraja prakriti savah
Vasudeve Bhagavate
vasudeve bhagavati
Satvatmani Dridhamatihe.
sattva atmani dridam.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Vṛtrāsura, demons are generally conducted by the mode of passion. Therefore, what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, who is always situated in pure goodness. King Indra wondered how Vṛtrāsura could have been elevated to the position of an exalted devotee. As for Prahlad Maharaj, he was initiated by Narad Muni, and therefore it was possible for him to become a great devotee, although he was born in a family of demons. For Vṛtrāsura, however, Indra could not detect such causes. Therefore, he was struck with wonder that Vṛtrāsura was such an exalted devotee that he could fix his mind without deviation upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna Vasudeva. So Indra is trying to understand how this demon is actually a pure devotee, without any association. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he got the association of Narad Muni. Yasya Bhaktir Bhagavati.
Yasyar bhakti bhagavati
Harau Niheshresh Yasheshware.
haroni shreshware
Vikridato Amritambodo.
vikritando amritambodo
Kim Shudre Khatakodake.
kim shudri khatakam udate.
A person fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Hari, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in small ditches? Vṛtrāsura has formally prayed Bhagavatam 6, Canto 11, chapter text 25. Na naka prishtam, na cha parmashtyam, na sarvabhaumam, na rasadhipatyam. I do not want the facilities for happiness on Brahmalok, Swargalok, or even Dhruvalok, not to speak of this earth or the lower planets. I simply want to return home back to Godhead. So we heard this. Vṛtrāsura was saying he does not want to go Swargalok. He doesn't want to go Brahmalok. He doesn't want to go Dhruvalok. Nowhere. Not to the lower planets, not to this earth. He's just eager. I simply want to return home back to Godhead. Like a child, he just wants to go home. He just wants to go home. He's tired now. He wants to go back to his mother. So like that, Vṛtrāsura is saying, I just want to go back to Krishna. I don't want anything else. This is the determination of a pure devotee. A pure devotee is never attracted to any exalted position within this material world. He simply wants to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani, the gopis, Krishna's father and mother, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, Krishna's friends and Krishna's servants. He wants to associate with Krishna's atmosphere of Vrindavan's beauty. These are the highest ambitions of a devotee of Krishna. Devotees of Lord Vishnu may aspire for a position in Vaikuntha Lok, But a devotee of Krishna never aspires even for the facilities of Vaikuntha. He wants to return to Golok Vrindavan and associate with Lord Krishna in his eternal pastimes. So here Prabhupada is mentioning devotees of Lord Vishnu may aspire for a position in Vaikuntha Lok. So the different types of mukti, sarupya, salokya, like sarshti, have the opulence of the Lord or look same like the Lord. But Krishna's devotees, what they want? Oh, I just want to be with you, Krishna. I want to take part in your pastimes. I want to see your pastimes. I want to take part in your pastimes. Any material happiness is like water in a ditch, whereas the spiritual happiness eternally enjoyed in the spiritual world is like an ocean of nectar in which a devotee wants to swim. So that eagerness, yes, that lolium, the intense greed. We can see here Vṛtrāsura is having this intense greed that he just wants to go back home, this intense eagerness. He just wants to go back home to Krishna. Shishuka Vacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Iti Bruvānava Anyonyam
Iti Bruvānam Anyonam
Dharma Jigyasaya Nripa
Dharma Jigyasaya Nripa
Yuyudhate Mahavirya
Yuyudhate Mahavirya
Indra Vritau Yudhampati.
Indra Vitro Yudhampati.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said Vṛtrāsura and King Indra spoke about devotional service even on the battlefield. And then as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. My dear king, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. So on the battlefield, they are speaking of bhakti because they are devotees after all. Wherever they are devotees, they're going to speak of devotional service. So this lolium, this eagerness that Vṛtrāsura has, the acharyas tell us that that is the price that we need to pay to go back home, back to Godhead. We should have this intense greed to be with Krishna, to go back home, back to Godhead. This lolium. Avidya parigam vritraha.
Avidya Parigraham Vritya
Karshnaya sam arindamaha.
Karshanayam Aritamaha
Indraya prahinodghoram.
Indraya Praniyoto Ghoram
Vama hastena marisha.
Vamahastena Marisha.
O Maharaj Parikshit, Vṛtrāsura, who was completely able to subdue his enemy, took his iron club, whirled it around, aimed it at Indra, and threw it at him with his left hand, because one of his arm is cut now. His right arm was cut, so now with his left hand he is fighting. Satu Vṛtrasya parigam.
Satu Vrityasya Parigam
Karamcha karabhopamam.
Karamcha Karabhupam
Chicheda yugapad devo.
Yugapadevo
Vajrena shataparvana.
Vajrena Parvana
With his thunderbolt named Shataparvan, Indra simultaneously cut to pieces Vṛtrāsura's club and his remaining hand. So now both of Vṛtrāsura's arms are cut off. Dorbhyam utkrita mulabhyam.
Dorbhavyam Krityamulabhyam
Babau rakta sravosuraha.
Vabhaura Asuraha
Chinna paksho yatha gotra.
Chinna
paksho yatha gotra.
Khad brashto vajrina hataha.
Khad
Khad
Vṛtrāsura Vajrina hataha.
Vṛtrāsura bleeding profusely, his two arms cut off at their roots. Looked very beautiful, like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. It appears from the statement of this verse that sometimes they are flying mountains and that their wings are cut by the thunderbolt of Indra. Vṛtrāsura's huge body resembled such a mountain. So it seems mountains can fly. Some mountains are living beings. And it seems they can fly, and that Indra can also cut off their wings. Mahaprano Mahaviryo.
Mahaprano
Mahaprano Mahaviryo.
Mahasarpa Iva Dvipam.
Mahasarpa iva
Mahasarva
dvipam.
Kritva Dharam Hanum Bhumao.
Kritva
Kritva
Dharam
dharam
Hanum
Daityo Divi Uttaram Hanum.
Daityo Divi Uttaram Hanum
Nabo Gambhira Vaktrena. Lili Hol Bana Jivaya. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm online. Are you able to hear me? I can't
Yes,
hear
we can
anyone.
hear you. We can hear you, Shilpa.
Okay. Damstrabhi Kala Kalpabhir.
Damshradhikal Kalpabhi
Krasan Eva Jagatrayam.
Grasan Eva Jagatrayam
Ati Matra Mahakaya.
Atimatra Mahakaya
Mahakaya.
Akshipam Starasa Girin.
Akship
Akshipam
Tarasagiri
sarasagiri.
Girirat Pada Chariva.
Girirapad
Girirapad
Padbhyam Nirjarayan Mahim.
Padbhyam
Padbhyam
Nirjayan
nirjarayan mahim.
Jagrasa Samasadya.
Grasasya
Jagrasa
Samasadya
samasadya.
Vajrinam Sahavahanam.
Vajrinam
Vajrinam
Sahavahanam.
sahavahanam.
Vṛtrāsura was very powerful in physical strength and influence. He placed his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw in the sky. His mouth became very deep, like the sky itself, and his tongue resembled a large serpent. With his fearful, death-like teeth, he seemed to be trying to devour the entire universe. Thus, assuming a gigantic body, the great demon Vṛtrāsura shook even the mountains and began crushing the surface of the earth with his legs, as if he were the Himalayas walking about. He came before Indra and swallowed him and Airavat, his carrier, just as a big python might swallow an elephant. So, wow, what a size, huh? That his mouth is on the ground, lower jaw on the ground, and upper jaw in the sky. How huge is that? You know, if we were to see such a sight, how would we react? And he's swallowing the Indra
Hare
and the
Krishna.
elephant. Hare Krishna.
Shilpaji, there was also one demon, the beak, right? The same way. It was opened and
I was exactly thinking of that, the
yeah, I just
Aghasur, the
came
snake.
to
The
Agasur, yes,
snake.
Agasur
Yeah.
demon.
I was
Inside
thinking of the same.
the devotees. Yeah.
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 Grastam tam alokya.
Vittagrastam tam alokya.
Saprajapatya suraha.
Saprajapataya suraha
ha kashtam iti nirvinnash
hakastam iti nirmishnaha
chukrushu samaharshayah.
chukrushu samaha.
When the demigods, along with Brahma, other Prajapatis, and other great saintly persons, saw that Indra had been swallowed by the demons, they became very morose. Alas, they lamented, what a calamity, what a calamity. So then, of course, the demigods, Nigrinopi su asurendrena,
Nigrino api asurendrena
na mamaro daram gataha,
na mamaro udaram gataha
Mahapurusha sanadho
Mahapurusho sannadho
yoga maya balena cha.
yoga maya balena cha.
The protective armor of Narayan, which Indra possessed, was identical with Narayan himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Protected by that armor and by his own mystic power, King Indra, although swallowed by Vṛtrāsura, did not die within the demon's belly. So he's protected by the Lord. Bhitva vajrena tatkukshim.
Bhitva vajrena tatkuktim
Nishkramya balabhid vibhu.
Nishkamya malavidhibudu
Uchkarta shira shatror.
Uchkarta shiraha shatrayo
Giri shringam ivaujasa.
Girisham ivojasa.
With his thunderbolt, King Indra, who was also extremely powerful, pierced through Vṛtrāsura's abdomen and came out. Indra, the killer of the demon Bala, then immediately cut off Vṛtrāsura's head, which was as high as the peak of a mountain. So Indra, he's swallowed by Vṛtrāsura, but he's cut Vṛtrāsura's stomach and come out now. And then he's cut off his head. Vajrastu tatkandaramashu vega
Sutadukam suvegaha
Krintan samantat parivartamana
Krintam samantat parivartamanaha
Nyapatayatavad ahartanena
Nyapatyattavad ahargahena
Yojotisham ayanivartrahatye.
Yojyotikam ayaneva krihatye.
Although the thunderbolt revolved around Vṛtrāsura's neck with great speed, separating his head from his body took one complete year, 360 days, the time in which the sun, moon, and other luminaries complete a northern and southern journey. Then, at the suitable time for Vṛtrāsura to be killed, his head fell to the ground. So Indra is killing him, he's cutting his neck.
1 year. One year.
Imagine. Yeah, it took 1 year. How powerful, how great, how big Vṛtrāsura would have
I'm thinking
been.
that maybe how big head it must be in the diameter that it took
And-
1 year to cut.
And that also it's saying the Vajra, thunderbolt, was going at great speed. Great speed, it's mentioned. So, anyway, this is what it is. So it took 1 year to cut his head off. Tada chake dun dubhayo vinedur
तदा
तदा सखेतुन्दुभयो विनेदुः
Gandharva Siddha Samaharshi Sangaha
गन्धर्ववृन्दाः
समहर्षि
समहर्षिसङ्गः
सङ्गः
Vṛtrāgnalinge tam abhishtuvana
वात्रलिङ्गे
वार्तालिङ्गे
समभीष्टबाणा
अभिष्टुवाना
Mantre Mudaku Sumer Abhyavarshan
मन्त्रे
मन्त्रे
मुधा
मुदा कुसुम
कुसुमने
अभ्यवर्ष
अभयवर्षण.
When Vṛtrāsura was killed, the Gandharvas and Siddhas in the heavenly planets beat kettle drums in jubilation. With Vedic hymns, they celebrated the prowess of Indra, the killer of Vṛtrāsura, praising Indra and showering flowers upon him with great pleasure. Vṛtrasya dehan nishkrantam
वृत्रस्य
वित्तस्य
देहात्
देहान्निष्क्रान्तम्
निष्क्रान्तम्
atma jyotir arindamam
आत्मज्योति अरिन्दमः
आत्मज्योतिररिन्दमः
pashyatam sarva devanam
पश्यतां
पश्यतां
सर्वदेवानां
सर्वदेवानाम्
alokam samapadyata.
अलोकं
अलोकं
समपद्यत.
समपद्यत.
O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vṛtrāsura's body, and returned home, back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Indra, not Vṛtrāsura, was actually killed. He says that when Vṛtrāsura swallowed King Indra and his carrier, the elephant, he thought, now I have killed Indra, and therefore there is no more need of fighting. Now let me return home, back to Godhead. Thus, he stopped all his bodily activities and became situated in trance. Taking advantage of the silence of Vṛtrāsura's body, Indra pierced the demon's abdomen, and because of Vṛtrāsura's trance, Indra was able to come out. Now, Vṛtrāsura was in yoga samadhi, and therefore, although King Indra wanted to cut his throat, the demon's neck was so stiff that Indra's thunderbolt took 360 days to cut it to pieces. Actually,
Wow.
it was the body left by Vṛtrāsura that was cut to pieces by Indra. Vṛtrāsura himself was not killed. In his original consciousness, Vṛtrāsura returned home, back to Godhead, to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. Here the word alokam means the transcendental world, Vaikuntha Lok, where Sankarshan eternally resides. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 6th canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Vṛtrāsura's Glorious Death. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, a great acharya in our line, he's explaining what happened. He's saying that when Vṛtrāsura swallowed Indra, then Vṛtrāsura said, okay, well, now Indra is dead. Now I don't need to fight. So he entered into samadhi because he was already so eager. You know, we could hear how he kept it again saying, I want to go back home. I want to go back home. So his eagerness was so much. So he's like, okay, well, Indra is killed now. Now I can go back home. So he went in samadhi. His body is quiet. His body is in samadhi. So then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, that's why it took so long to cut, because his neck was so stiff, because he was in samadhi. So actually it was the body left by Vṛtrāsura that was cut to pieces by Indra. Vṛtrāsura himself was not killed. So Vṛtrāsura's soul left the body, and the body that was left behind, Indra has killed that. So Vṛtrāsura already left, and Indra has then killed the body. of Vṛtrāsura. I mean, he is then cut off the head. This is what's the explanation by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Comments?
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes more sense now, that why it took so long. And then he was so powerful, and that this also shows the beauty that how Krishna kept both of their devotees' point. Like, how even Vṛtrāsura's point of view, that he thought that, oh, I killed Indra, he's the devotee, and though he didn't want it all this, but then still he did his part, and then he went into samadhi, he gave his body. And even Indra, though he's always a devotee, right? He has a very exalted position. So he's also a devotee. So he did his part, what was his duty, as he was instructed by Lord Vishnu that you can go and kill him with his Vajra. So he did his part. So like, it's a beautiful, everything falls into place in Krishna Leela. Everything falls into place. Everything is there for a reason, and it falls into place so beautifully that at the end you are just thinking about Krishna, nothing else. Oh my God, Krishna, how beautifully you have done things.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
then-
also what it came to my mind also, like till the end, Vṛtrāsura, he showed his prowess. Like it was not that he just gave, okay, now you kill me, like that. No, till the end he swallowed Indra, also King Indra. Like, he had to show that till the end I'm going to fight. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Like, how you can just, okay, yeah, like, the eagle is there to go back, we just kill me, but he had to also fight and show that,
Yeah.
that I am also like equally powerful. I mean, that was his part, his duty, right? I mean, he had to do also. He had to fight, right?
Yes, that's true. Thank you. Yeah, like he's not just doing it matha choryo, like, okay, for the heck of it. No, he's actually putting his full endeavor. Yeah.
Full,
Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. So, shall we read this introduction? Begin it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
yeah, it's a small part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So King Indra, afflicted by sinful reaction, chapter 13. This chapter describes Indra's fear at having killed a Brahmana, Vṛtrāsura. And it also describes how he fled and was saved by the grace of Lord Vishnu. When all the demigods requested Indra to kill Vṛtrāsura, he refused because Vṛtrāsura was a Brahmana. The demigods, however, encouraged Indra not to fear killing him because Indra was protected by the Narayan Kavach, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Lord Narayan. Even by a glimpse of the chanting of Narayan's name, one becomes free from all the sinful reactions of killing a woman, a cow, or a Brahmana. The demigods advised Indra to perform an Ashwamedh sacrifice, by which Narayan would be pleased, for the performer of such a sacrifice is not implicated in sinful reactions, even if he kills the entire universe. Following this instruction from the demigods, King Indra fought Vṛtrāsura. But when Vṛtrāsura was killed, everyone was satisfied but King Indra, who knew Vṛtrāsura's position. This is the nature of a great personality. Even if a great personality acquires some opulence, he is always ashamed and regretful if he acquires it illegally. Indra could understand that he was certainly entangled by sinful reactions for killing a Brahman. Indeed, he could see sinful reaction personified following him, and thus he fled here and there in fear, thinking of how to rid himself of his sins. He went to Manas Sarovar, and there, under the protection of the goddess of fortune, he meditated for 1,000 years. During this time, Nahusha reigned over the heavenly planets as the representative of Indra. Unfortunately, however, he was attracted by the beauty of Indra's wife, Shachi Devi. And because of his sinful desire, he had to accept the body of a serpent in his next life. Indra later performed a great sacrifice with the help of exalted Brahmanas and saints. In this way, he was released from the reactions of his sinful killing of a Brahmana. So it seems Indra didn't want to kill Vṛtrāsura because he's a Brahman, a devotee, but the demigods were telling him, don't worry, you can do Ashwamedh sacrifice. You can please Lord Narayan. You can get away with it. So, but Indra was feeling very guilty. And it's saying here that sin personified was following him. And that's why he did 1,000 years of meditation under the protection of Lakshmi Devi, goddess of fortune. Nahusha took his position for that 1,000 years, but somehow he's gotten attracted by the beauty of Indra's wife, and that's how he has to become a serpent in the next life. And then
Nahusha,
Indra
right?
performs. I'm sorry?
Nahusha became, right? A serpent.
Nahusha, yeah. Nahusha became a serpent. And then Indra is performing a great sacrifice to get freed from this sin of killing Vṛtrāsura. So we can read this tomorrow, I think, the text one. Or when?
Yeah.
Oh, huh?
We have 2 minutes if you want to start. We still
Okay.
have full 2 minutes. So we can start
Okay.
if you want.
Okay. Shri Shuka Vachan.
Shri
Shri
Shuka
Shuka
Uvacha
Uvacha
Vritre Hate Trayo Loka.
Vitre Hatitra
Hate
Yuloka
Trayoka
Vinashakrena Bhurida.
Vina Shakrena Bhurida
Sapala Hi Abhavan Satyo.
Sapala Vibhavan
Abhavan
Satyo
Satyo
Vijvara Nirvritendriyaha.
Virjvara Nirvitendriyaha.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, who are so charitably disposed, when Vṛtrāsura was killed, all the presiding deities and everyone else in the 3 planetary systems was immediately pleased and free from trouble. Everyone, that is, except Indra. So, of course, everyone was happy that, oh, now we can enjoy nicely, peacefully. There's no one to bother us, trouble us, So,
But was he really troubling? Was he a terror, Vṛtrāsura?
well,
It's just
yeah,
that he wanted to take revenge, I mean, because of his brother, right? Vishwarup, right? Was killed.
Yeah, that's right.
by-
So we heard that he was going everywhere and everyone was being terrorized by him. As soon as he came out of the sacrificial fire, because he was created for that purpose, no? Tushta, he did the prayers for this purpose. So the demigods were all terrorized by him. And Vṛtrāsura was playing his part. He was doing what he was, kind of created to do. Yeah. So let's stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. God